Hi everyone, we are team number 5 and today we will be having our web zoo. So let's begin with this. Okay, the animal kingdom is definitely one of the most interesting ones for us as human beings. We are part of that kingdom and we can see lots of creatures that share characteristics with us. So it is important for both entertainment and culture to know a little bit more about these marvelous creatures. Plus, animals can be dangerous sometimes, so it is quite important that we recognize which animals are a danger to our security and that we know how to prevent that damage that they can provoke to us. Obviously, not hurting the animal at all and just avoiding it because remember, in their own ecosystems, they are the owners and we have no law in there. So, okay, the structure of this web zoo is going to be the following. We will discuss about 6 different animals, which you can see their images right now, and we will expose their specific characteristics and traits, and at the end we will finish with a conclusion that will sum up everything. So let's get started.
The first animal that we're gonna see is the emperor penguin, which its scientific name is Atenodite forsteri, that lives in the Antarctica. The climate in Antarctica is very cold. It's one of the coldest continents in the planet, with an average of temperature of minus 57 degrees Celsius. And the position in the food chain is it it eats other smaller animals like squid, krill, and fish, but it also gets eaten by the killer whale, leopard, between other animals, and the shark, for example. So it's a secondary consumer. The abiotic factors in Antarctica are the ice, water, temperature, wind, snow, etc. And the biotic factors are the leopard, seal, lichens, killer whale, between other animals. The importance of the penguin in the food chain is that they eat smaller creatures like squids and smaller fish. That and also it's the source of food for bigger animals like sharks and killer whales.
So the second animal we're going to cover is going to be the sea otter with the scientific name Enhydra lutris. So let's talk first about the habitat, and they inhabit the kelp forest, which is located in the Pacific Northwest of the American continent. It has large biodiversity, and it can tower up to 175 feet over the ocean floor. Now, it is important to mention that sea otters were almost driven to extinction during the 18th and 19th centuries because of the fur trade, but their numbers have stabilized in recent years due to repopulation efforts. Sea otters mostly inhabit cold waters that range from 1.5 to 16 degrees Celsius, and the biotic and abiotic factors that influence them are water temperature and salinity, and biotic factors are crabs, snails, sea urchins, clams, etc. And these are all the prey of the sea otter. Now let's talk about their position in the food chain and consumer type. They are the tertiary consumers, and they are heterotrophs that are at the very top of the food chain. They consume large fish, sea urchin, and other smaller sea creatures. And their importance in the food chain um, is very difficult to understate because without them, what happens is that sea urchins become very prevalent, and thus a lot of the flora and fauna becomes very scarce because the sea urchins start eating all of them, and they have no predators. So we have an overpopulation of sea urchins, and it basically just destroys the ecosystem.
Okay, now we're talking about the Galapagos giant tortoise. The scientific name is Chelonoidis nigra, and This is one they are the largest land turtles, along with the Seychelles group of turtles in the Indian Ocean. The largest specimens can measure up to 1.8 meters and weigh more than 300 kilograms. Next, please. Okay, its habitat is the arid lava land that forms the floor of the Galapagos Island. They spend the cooler hours of the day on the completely dry lava floor of the lowlands of the island, where the terrain is generally arid and grassy. But during the hottest part of the day, they usually move to the more humid volcanic highlands, where they find pools of water and feed on the lush plant life that grows over there. Now, the climate or the weather over there is mainly dry with the record high temperatures because they are in an island. The biotic and abiotic factors will be the abiotic factors, water and the temperature, because they are in an island. What is around them is most of them water with salty water. And the biotic factors are the animals that are on the island. Some examples are the penguins, the giant tortoise, the flightless cormorants, marine and land iguanas are on the list of the more than 2,000 endemic species that are inhabited in the Galapagos Island. Next, please. The position in the food chain and the consumer type. Their place in the food chain is a primary consumer, as their diet is primarily herbivorous, eating grasses, leaves, stems, and fruits of the different plant species, including cacti, although they may also feed on the carrion and other organic debris. The importance in the food chain is just to maintain, is to keep under control the amount of plants in the island. They don't have any problem if they get extinct because they only control the grass and some plants of the island.
Next, we have the African elephant, and its scientific name is Loxodonta africana. Next, please. So, their habitat, they inhabit the savannas of sub-Saharan Africa and the rainforest of Central and West Africa. Climate. In the savanna, there is an average of 20 to 50 inches of rain per year, and the temperature varies between 60 and 75 degrees Fahrenheit. And in the picture, there you can tell like the weather, and then biotic and abiotic factors. Abiotic factors: water, oxygen, temperature, and sunlight. And abiotic factors are giraffes, zebras, rhinos, lions, and other animals. The position in the food chain and consumer type. They are primary consumers in the food chain since they are herbivores. Elephants also belong to the second trophic level. So in the graph right there, you can tell that they eat plants, and then the elephant gets eaten by, for example, lions, and then those animals like the elephant get eaten by humans, and the importance in the food chain. Elephants feed on a variety of vegetation types, including grasses, forbs, roots, bulbs, tubers, leaves, flowers, shrubs, bark, among many others. And basically, they work as bulk grazers and bulk browsers in the food chain.
Now let's talk about the Asiatic bear. This is indeed a very cute bear and very hungry, considering they eat at least 20 hours a day and may put up to 100 pounds in a few weeks. One small just and sad fact that I have today is that they are vulnerable to extinction because of the loss of habitat. This is due to deforestation. But let's not talk about that now. Now, the first step to know about Asiatic black bears is that their scientific name is Ursus gibernatus. Next slide, please. The habitat of these creatures is in forested areas. It is common to find them in hills and mountain areas. Don't go looking for one though. They are not natural enemies to humans, but if they are surprised or scared, they may attack, and any kind of attack from any bear can lead to death. Yes, even the small red pandas. But not to worry because the Asiatic black bears are mostly isolated and it is not common to hear about attacks. They are found primarily at elevations of 1,501 to 3,000 meters above sea level. They are found in southern Asia. Most birds can survive cold climates due to their thick hair and because they have a lot of hair. Some of the abiotic factors that affect the life of these animals are water, as it is obvious, trees, and temperature. However, just like I mentioned, most birds can survive in different temperatures. Put a bear in a hot climate, and they will just probably scratch their belly once or twice. And the biotic factors that affect these bears are that the animals around him, the fungi in the area, the birds, the fish, and similar organisms. Next slide, please. What position do these bears have in a food chain? They are indeed very lazy. Just think that a bear can sleep more than 100 days without eating, drinking, not even passing waste. These animals can even turn their pee into protein through a urea recycling process. They are amazing, but like I said, they are surprisingly lazy. And of course, they are at the top of the food chain of wild animals in Korea. The Asiatic bear is an omnivore, which means they can either eat plants or animals and survive from it, and they are secondary consumers. They are important to the food chain because they are a source of help in the preservation of populations of deer and other prey. Not to forget, they are important links in food webs. Now let's learn about the next animal.
Now we're going to talk about the blue whale. Its scientific name is the Balanoptera musculus. Um, the next slide, please. First of all, the habitat. They inhabit in every aquatic habitat. Blue whales live in all the world's oceans except the Arctic, occasionally swimming in small groups but usually alone or in pairs. They often spend summers feeding in polar waters and undertake lengthy migrations towards the equator as winter arrives. Next is the climate. The blue whale is found mostly in cold and temperate waters and it prefers deeper ocean waters to coastal waters. The biotic and abiotic factors. The abiotic factors are the water, sand, oxygen, waves, and rocks, and the biotic factors are dolphins, sponges, fish, starfish, seaweed, shrimp, and sharks. Next one, please. Um, the position in the food chain and consumer type. They are carnivores and are in the top of the food chain. The blue whale is a secondary consumer on the food chain. Despite its immense size, the blue whale is not a fearsome predator. Its importance in the food chain is that they contribute to the balance of the marine ecosystem. Whales act like a pump that recirculate the fish and zooplankton that they've ingested toward the surface in the form of nitrogen-rich fecal matter. These nutrients are essential to the primary production of the marine ecosystem. Um, Also, their iron-rich poo is a really important source of nutrients in the marine food chain, promoting southern ocean productivity, which boosts fishery yields.
Okay, now we know a little bit more about all of these animals. We have seen all kinds of them, to really cute ones from really scary ones. But no doubt, all of them are beautiful creatures that we must respect and protect. We saw some interesting facts about them that probably you didn't know, like their places in the food chain or their abiotic factors. If you are interested in this kind of videos, we strongly recommend you to attend a physical zoo whenever you have the chance. Because just as much as you probably enjoyed this, you are going to enjoy the whole experience. And well, it is also important to always keep on learning and learning about these wonderful creatures because, well, they are important to us, to other animals, to their ecosystems, and it's quite complex, but really important all that these animals represent. So that's it for today's web. So we really hope you enjoyed it and see you next time. Bye.